going to start with our hips. Just left to right, side to side. Part of fusion flow is to really get some fluid movements for all of our hip joints. Now get a little bigger, get a little funkier, do whatever you want with your arms. Now notice how I'm softening my knees. I'm not squatting, but I'm softening my knees so I can really get some nice little hip jiggling left to right. And 4, 3, 2, and now have some fun. Get a little shaky, get really fast, get silly. And back to bottom. Get a little lower this time, pushing your heels into the ground. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and now lean and step, but we're still doing this little mini squat. Quads are waking up. Don't worry, we're gonna get our glutes too. 4, 3, 2, and right foot stays. Left heel comes up and heel comes down. Heel up and down. Now if you want to add some speed, you kind of tap it. Otherwise, it's a pivot. Right quad is saying hi or something else. 5, 4, pick a level of speed, and let's bring it in, switch. In and out. Right heel up, right heel down. Or you speed it up, and it's more of a bounce, but that standing leg stays bent. Getting some rotation through our hips. 3, 2, and 1. Keep those legs nice and wide. Tick-tock the hips. Get the arms out nice and wide. Now soften the knees. We're pushing the ground away. So our hips are almost doing a dip without doing a squat in between. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now stay to the right and lean to the left, reach the arms, and we pulse. So it's now movement for our ribs, creating extension, warming up our arms simply by holding our wrists at shoulder height. A little bit of a stretch for the right leg. 3, 2, and we switch. Get the hips moving, reach to the right, and we pulse. Just a nice little extension. Get that stretch through the left hip. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and center. Drop it down. Not a super low squat. Save a little bit of energy, but we're dropping it low, but we're not arching the back. We're pulling the tailbone forward. And what we're doing is we're going to lean towards the left and push up through the ball of the foot to extend, lifting up that heel, and we're gonna reach. Pull in, switch. And it's not a pivot. Keep that heel pointed to the back. We'll do some pivots after. You can reach both arms or keep it lower, keep it steady. You can take just the one arm or extend, take up space. Last one each side. And we reach, come up, rise, heels in, toes out. Ticking, talking, yep, still about them hips. Check your angle of your heels so that you don't tip over. Now we're gonna add the hip dips. Moving through the knees, shifting your weight, allowing the hips to drop, scooping up through one side, and the rib and the hip come closer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes forward. Notice we're starting to come in. We're going to lift up the left heel, bend the left knee, and we're going to slide the hands down, the left hand, and exhale it up. Inhale and exhale. Now try not to let anything else in the body move. So this is not a shift the hips back. This is a side bend. And when we bend to the side, we're not moving the hips any extra. There will be chances for being extra soon enough. 2 more. Last one. Release. Right heel up. Right hand slide. Inhale and exhale. Try to keep that hip nice and stable on the left. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it closer all the way in, and some hip circles. With the hip circles, the knees get to move, the ankles get to move. 5, 4, 3, 2, reverse direction. Whoop, go the other way. I'm really feeling it on this side today. It's like a weird stretch and my muscles don't quite want to cooperate. Circling around. 4, 3, 2, and just side to side, and let those heels just lift off a little bit. Don't go for a full-on heel march. Just a little release of the pressure on the heel as you shift side to side. Fix pants or shirt or bras, anything you need at any point. 4, 3. We will be using some equipment soon, so just keep that in mind. Some type of hand weights if you've got them, dumbbells, Pilates balls, flex band, and we'll see what else comes up. So take a moment. We're just going to pause. Why don't you look down at your feet? And when my heels are closer together, my toes are wider. When my toes are closer together, it feels like there's more space between my heels. I'm going to force it. I'm going to take my heels more towards my hips, my big toes touching. And I'm going to do my heel march, but it's going to be this weird, like awkward, I have to pee kind of walk. And I'm heel walking. So I'm pushing my hips to the side. There's a slight internal rotation through my thighs, but it's not too bad. It's just kind of this awkward, like your thighs are rubbing together, and that's okay. It's about checking in with balance. 4, 3, 2. Now heels come underneath the hips, toes forward. Shift the hips all the way over to the right. Bend the left knee, lift up the left heel. Oh, and we're going to hip bounce. Just a little hip bounce. Now when the hip comes to the right, really push into it so that you get that stretch all the way down the side of your body. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now stay on the right leg. Left leg comes up and across. Now you can keep it small and low. Take it a little higher. Or go really big. Don't worry about rhythm. Focus on how steady you can be. Hands can do whatever they need to for balance. I like to use my exhale to help give my knee a little extra oomph on the way up. But remember, you have options to stay low, to find a place that still challenges you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it out. And we're doing a hip bounce again, except this time the knee is externally rotated versus forward. Get some shoulder shimmies, get the arms going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and heel it down. We shift to the right, to the left leg. The right heel lifts up, and we hip bounce. hip bounce. Now the song has slowed down a little bit, so how can you find a rhythm that's yours? How can you get the hips to really stretch and push and lift? And you can speed this one up. Find that rhythm. 4, 3, 2. Now it's step across. Keep it low. Get it higher. Take it slow. Or find a rhythm anywhere in between. And it's okay to let your ribs move as well in the opposite direction of the legs so that you're creating a little bit of twisting action through your whole body. Woo! Check balance, of course. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it out. Hip bounce. And you can take it slow, steady, cool. Take it up a notch. Have fun. Get a little shoulder rib slide or shimmy. 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring it down. Now it's time to get out your weights, your hand weights, whatever you've got. I call these my dumb balls, but they're blue Pilates balls. They're about 2 pounds each. So, shoulder blades up and back. Feet come somewhere underneath your hips. We're going to continue this hips side to side motion. And notice that when my right hip moves to the right, my right hand goes with it. I'm directing energy towards the earth with my hands holding these weights. So I can keep it here. I can turn this into more of a heel march, making it a bit more challenging. And my elbows come up, not behind. And just for fun, can we do a walk with this guy? Some days the answer is yes. Some days it's, say what? Five, 4, 3, 2. Take the arms out, feet come a little closer, but they don't have to touch. We're gonna drop the knees left to right. And add the arms this time. Still same principle. My hips and knees go to the right, my right arm goes down with it. This is changing the dynamics of the squatting motion. Stay with me. 4, 3, 2, and bring it up, shoulders up and back, palms up, elbows tucked in, shoulder blades down and back. And I say down and back because I see a lot of people kind of leaning forward and not really paying attention to their structural alignments. So now, focusing on more upper body, elbows in, wrists squeeze up and out. Simplifying it by just focusing on the arms for just a moment. But of course, we can always add some layers and levels. So just side view. We're not arching, we're not hunching. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now it's take the arms down. Now, if you've got dumbbells, don't bash them in case you're worried about your fingers. If you've got the balls, bash away. We circle up and down. Now, this is where we're going to start adding some little layers. Shift your weight to the right foot. Bend the left knee, lift the left heel. Now from here, we can take the left toes and extend them just forward and float, but not in front, to the side. Now, lining them up heel to heel versus kicking forward changes the angles. So figure out which works best for you. Whoop. Checking for balance. 3, 2, 1. Release, switch weight, switch feet. We're gonna do something slightly different with the weight. Instead of going down and up, we're gonna go out and forward. So this one, I do want to encourage you to pull your chest through, but not because you're arching your back. It's because you're pulling chest through. Now adding that layer, bend the right knee, lift the right heel. And from here, take the toes and just extend them forward a little. Whoop, whoop. Clearly this is my side that has the most room to improve for balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Now it's been a long time since I brought certain songs back on, and today's one of them. I'm really hoping you guys remember this. Now, you've got the options of using the weights or not. Today I'm choosing not to use the weights. So we are going to start with our shoulders. Would love for you to wiggle those shoulders. Get the arms loose and fluffy. And then wherever you are, get those arms out to the side. Shake the chest, AKA shake the girls. I don't know what your week has been like, but I love the idea of shaking off tension, stress, frustration, blahs, blues. Now lock and load. Arms straight, feet together, lock and load. Give me that little twist, lock and load. Stay nice and tall, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Turn this into a twist. Turn left to right, pivot. Do whatever you want with the arms to make this extra. Give me some Elvis legs, please. That just means jiggling and wiggling. Take it for a walk. Forward and back. Some of you might know this, what we're doing next, but if you're new, come down with me. Get low. Get low, and then hear that wind up. We're gonna come up, and then I want you to go nuts. Go crazy, go silly. Shake, kick. Pretend you're 3 years old. Pretend you're wiping your bum with a towel. I don't care. Because you shouldn't either. Running man. Anything. Give me the shoulders. Just the shoulders. Give me the girls. Give me that chest shake. Whoop. Lock and load. Lock and load. Arms straight. Wiggling through the hips. Give me a little twist. Add some layers, as in levels, going down, up. Get as extra with the arms as you want. Woo! I say woo because I like that sound. That was fun. So, one more thing with our weights before we make our way to the floor. Now, we want to target the back of the legs and range of motion and movement and mobility. So, left leg is going to come back. And a soft knee, and you don't have to go too far back, but we're just going to start off with a little bounce. The weight's in our hands, just giving us that little bit extra to work with. So now, it's taking that knee out and in. Add a little arm movements. So we're lunging, pivoting out into almost sumo squat at an angle. Lunge, pivot. So the standing leg is doing all the strength work, while the back leg is doing all the pivot and range of motion work. One more each, back and forward, and we step. Switch sides. Right leg stays, left leg comes back. Sorry, no, the other way around. Switch legs, whatever you were doing, switch legs. So it's in, little pulse. Now add the pivot. Just that little pivot. You can make it smaller. You can take it low. Take it somewhere in between. Internal, external rotation. Swing the arms a little bit. Find a little bit of like a bicep curl somewhere in between. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring it in. Heels in, toes out. Tick-tock hips. My legs are on fire. I hope your legs are warm at the very least. 4, 3, 2. Soften the knees. Get into those heels. And still tapping the toes. Arms can come up for a little isometric hold. This is a great external rotation through the hips by moving your thighs out to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we bring it down. Come onto the floor. Whew. I'll be warm. I hope you're warm. So first, the most important, not the most, but definitely one of the important things about my practice is remembering to wiggle. Give yourself a wiggle. Catch your breath. And from here, we're gonna do some classical saws with some variations. So the first one, focusing on just the spine. Hands into your heart, turn towards a leg, pick a leg, any leg, and then switch. Now the crown of my head is staying in the same spot. It's like a corkscrew. I am not leaning down or bending. 4, 3, 2, and bring it in. Now we're gonna add hands. And I want you to make a flat palm of your hand because we're gonna do a push. So hands come together. Imagine like there's this resistance, this invisible ball of stress or bullshit. We're gonna push it. Right hand is gonna push to the left while my left elbow tucks back. Still staying upright, still focusing on movement through the spine. 4, 3, 2, and bring it in. Now we go for classical saw. Weights can be used if you want. I'll demonstrate without the weights first. The goal here is to get always into this upright position in between. Right shoulder rolls in and under, while the left hand is going to reach towards the right. So we come down and back up. So whatever arm is reaching behind, that's the shoulder that rotates inwards, while the other hand is just like a nice old karate chop to the side. And you can keep it here or get low. With the weights, of course, it looks the exact same. Inhale, exhale it out. Let's do one more each side. And let's bring it in. We're gonna come onto hands and knees. On hands and knees, fix your pants first so I don't, well, I need to fix my pants so I don't, give you too much of a show. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Before we do anything else, I want you to pay attention if you relax the belly, what happens to your spine. Or if you move the hips behind the knees and even try to straighten out the spine. There's not a lot of core waking up. Their core is like, nah, I don't need to do anything. But the minute I move my hips in front of my knees, that's when the core says, oh, okay, I gotta do something here. But not if I'm relaxing. Pulling the belly button up and away from the floor. Without shifting anything else in your body, bring up the left hand and look at your palm. So I'll show you front view here, because what we're not doing is leaning. We just pick up the hand and look at your palm. And the reason I don't want you looking at the back of your hand is because I don't want you to check for your manicure. And we switch down. Now, if you watch carefully, when I switch sides, nothing else moves. I could balance a hot teacup on my back and nothing changes. Although, please don't put a hot teacup on your back at home. And release. Now, this is not just an exercise where you bring it up and drop it. You need to hold it, but not hold your breath. One more each side. And now we're going to switch this idea into our legs. Now, this is where it gets a little trickier. Pushing your weight fully into your hands to push the shoulder blades out and away. Left leg comes back. Tucking the toes under. Now exhale, float the leg just an inch or two off the ground. Notice, did one of your hands all of a sudden take less weight or more weight? Can you readjust the distribution? Tricky, huh? Bring it down. Ooh, you can feel all that leveling back out. Right leg back. Now with my toes down, I can keep equal distribution on both my hands, but the minute that leg comes up, one hand definitely takes more weight. So without judging, can you redistribute just a little without obviously tipping over? And release. Now, we're going to bring the right knee towards midline. That means the point between your knee and your hands create a triangle, a tripod shape. Left leg comes back. We're going to bring up the heel. We're going to bend the knee. We're going to pull that knee in to the side, up and back. So it's 3 points, down towards the ground, out to the side, up and back. Not a circle, just a 3-pointer. Make sure that you're not shifting the hips back. I see a lot of people end up doing one of these, and we want to keep forward. 3, 2, 1, release. Bring left knee in, and I'm going to show front view just to give you a different angle here. Take that right leg back, lift up, bend the knee. Point the knee to the side, down, up, and back, without moving your torso. This is always the tricky part. Nothing else moves. Checking with your lower back. 3, 2, 1, release, and come all the way onto your belly. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Let's go ahead. Tuck up into our low plank. This is our starting point. Now, anywhere along this journey, you get to choose. Think of this, if any of you guys remember the Choose Your Adventure books, you get to choose. You can stay here, stay on this path, or tuck up, get up a little higher. Just don't go up into here. Your core isn't doing anything. Once here, you can have options of little movement forward and back, or hip wiggle. You can even add a little side step. Whoop, don't kick your balls. If this is too challenging, if this path is not for you, drop back onto those knees, or shift to your hands, or hands and toes. You can walk the plank. This is one of my favorites. I don't know why, but I will confess I had a smoothie way too close to class. I'm a little barfy already, so stay with me though. We walk the plank, or we don't. We mountain climber it. We can sidestep it here too. Or we drop it back onto the knees. Or back onto the forearms. Whatever option you take on this adventure, stay in any type of plank motion that you can. If you want side plank, I'm okay with side plank too. So let's take a deep breath. We're almost there. Don't forget to breathe, because breathing's a thing. Almost there. And let's take a deep breath and release it down. Oh, I definitely felt barfy on that one. So if you were to, you're not alone. We're gonna come onto our side, and I'm just gonna tell you to pick a side, any side. We're going to line up our bodies like we're stuck between two panes of glass. We're gonna push our top hip down and away, float the leg up just past hip height. And it's gonna start off with just a flex and point of the toes of the top leg only. Now, for the next layer, we float the bottom leg up, but we're not bending at the knee. We're not just kicking up from the knee. The whole thigh comes off the ground. This is gonna work a lot of the obliques. And of course, we do not cheat by placing our hand on the ground, providing our balance is okay. Mind you, if we do fall over, we're really not far from the ground, so we should be safe. Now, this little flex and point, turn it into a little bit of a flutter kick. Straight leg, not bending the knees. Straight leg flutter kick. Flutter kick, flutter kick. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Bottom leg, bring it forward. Line up the knee with your hip and your ankle with that knee, so it's a 90-degree all around. Flex the top foot, kick it forward. Point back. And I purposely want to go slow. Flex forward. I want you to pay attention what's happening along the thigh. Exhale, forward, point back. Last 2. Last 1. Now we're going to take an external rotation, bring that knee up in towards our armpit. I know, super sexy, right? Take the toes up, flex the heels, and we're going to bring it down only about 45 degrees. And a little pulse here. Everything right now is just cramping up here. Stay with me for 3, 2, 1, and then hug the knee in. Whew. Drop the knee down in front on top of the bottom knee. Keep those big toes touching. Squeeze open and out to the side. Don't forget to breathe. Not that this is super strenuous, but this takes a lot of kind of focus and awareness of what is working, what's moving, where is my balance compromised and where is it not. 4, 3, 2, and now this is a tricky one. We're going to take the bottom leg back and the top leg forward. So bottom leg slides back and top leg comes forward. Now I'm going to get my hand to give it a little extra pull. And right now it's definitely feeling the stretch through my hips. I'm just going to hold my knee, support my knee. Because I have such short legs, I like my heel lifted. Some of you might prefer having the foot flat down. And don't worry about if the foot gets as high as your hip. Bottom leg squeezes up. Little inner thigh activation here while the top leg gets that little stretch. Ooh. Four, And let's release. Now that top leg is gonna come behind and we're gonna come onto our back for just a moment before we switch side, but that top leg is still bent. Whatever leg you had on top, that's the one that's still bent. And you're gonna push the heel down into the ground, and the long leg, the one that was on the bottom, is gonna kick up, flex the heel and bring it down. Point the toes, flex it down. Exhale up, inhale down. Last one, bring it up, cross that leg over the previous bottom leg, and just give yourself a little bit of a rock side to side. Now I'm gonna come and switch because we're about to switch sides. Now from here, our previous bottom leg is the one that's on top and crossed over. All we're doing is gonna roll towards that underneath leg, and we've switched sides. I need my hand to support bringing that foot in. So the knee is pointed towards the top. I can support my knee or my foot. I can drop my foot, well, not really. Bottom leg, inner thigh activation. So we're doing all that, but in reverse. Relax that leg. Give it a little bit of a stretch. Stay here just for a few breaths. Relax your jaw. Now support. Bottom leg has to come forward, and our knees come on top of each other. Feet come touching, big toes stay touching, and we squeeze up and down. Exhale it up and down. Squeezing up and down. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to pull that knee up and in. A little bit of an external rotation here. And then we're going to externally rotate it, toes up to the sky, and it's this little kick and pulse upwards. And now toes come forward and we kick it, we point it back. Take it slow, take it steady. Check in with whatever else is trying to move to compensate for the shift in balance. And really just focusing in on your breath. Forward and back. And last one forward. Last one back. Both legs come back. Stay here. Top leg comes up. We're going to do this one. This is the only one we do is slightly in reverse because I just want to give you the different options. Top leg, flex and point the toes, or bottom leg comes up with both legs float. So depending on where you want to take it. And then of course there's that little flutter kick. Whoop. 5, 4, 3, 2. And we're going to come all the way onto our back. Whoop. Making sure I don't smack my head on my hair clip. On our back, we're going to bring our heels close to our bum, and we're going to let the knees just windshield wiper across a few times. Palms are up, nothing touching fingertips. And then take your right ankle, place it onto your left knee. Little rock side to side. And for today, let's get it into a bit of a deeper twist. Let's take both that right heel and left knee all the way to the left to create a bit of a twist. Keeping both shoulder blades down, and let's breathe into this twist. Relaxing your jaw. And then exhale, draw everything back in towards center before we switch sides. Or reach that right hand through the space between your thighs and grab a hold if this is accessible. If not, you can even just place your foot up on a higher raised surface, or don't even use hands, just using your own body resistance. Doing it this way, by the way, is going to keep your core engaged. I'm going to encourage my knee to the side so I can really get into that stretch around my hips and glutes. And then relax enough that you can uncross, and we switch, rocking side to side first. And go for that full twist if you can. Keep both shoulder blades down. Heel and knee is on my right. Palms are up. And I'm yawning, so maybe you are too. And let's go ahead, exhale back up through to the top. Reach through for that stretch, or just simply pull that knee up. You've got options here for accessibility and range of motion. And let's release, uncross, feet together, knees wide. A little bit of yoga here, Supta Baddha Konasana. Reach up overhead, stretch it out, wiggle fingertips and toes if you want. But take the next at least 5 long, deep, soothing breaths to let your body relax. Make sure you're taking full, deep belly breaths. And when you've reached your count of 5, make your way onto your side, rolling up into seated, any which way your body lets you, but you take your time. And then one last thing to kind of close off our practice is a little bit of spinal movement for this wave. You can reverse direction. And then come through to neutral center, circle up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart, and a big old sigh. And you are done.